Nick Sirianni is the new head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. I woke up this morning, had an email from one Sal Paolantonio who said he really liked this guy. We're going to hear more about it coming up right now as ESPN's Sal Paolantonio joins me here on the Boardwalk Honda Hotline. Our guys Johnny G and the Berger Real Estate team really coming up big here, having Sal Pal call in on the perfect day. Sal, you normally a Sal Pal Friday, headed to Green Bay for a flight, said I got to do Thursday. Hey, Jeff Lurie, you think you can hire the coach? I'm going on the Mike Gill Show.
Yeah, we arranged it all for you, Mike Gill. I made sure it all happened. I was going to go to Green Bay on Friday, so I said, Jeff, do me a solid. Let's make it happen on Thursday so we can get on the Mike Gill Show with Johnny G and the Berger Realty Group. I'm really excited about this guy. I think he's really smart, young coach, well-respected around the league. And guess what? His first name is Nick. And the last guy whose first name was Nick took us to the Super Bowl and won it. So it's Philly Special Part 2. Part 2.
Sal, how did the...
I think I might have a book there.
There you go.
Philly Special Part 2.
I like that. We certainly look forward to the end of that book and see how it all turns out for Nick Sirianni. Who is he, and how did it happen so fast?
Well, it didn't happen fast. I can tell you that. It did not happen fast. Now, just think about this for a second. Nick Sirianni was in Kansas City with John Dorsey. And John Dorsey has been consulting behind the scenes with Howie Roseman. So I think this has John Dorsey's fingerprints all over it. And it's interesting, too, because Howie Roseman is represented by Bob Lamont. And Bob Lamont also represents Brian Daboll. So it looks like there's been a little bit of a pivot in the power structure at the Philadelphia Eagles, Mike, where John Dorsey has the ear of the owner and the general manager, and it's really pretty clear that this has John Dorsey's fingerprints on it. And Dorsey, of course, he chose Patrick Mahomes the second when he was in Kansas City, and he drafted Baker Mayfield when he was in Cleveland. So he's got a great track record.
That's a very interesting point. So Sirianni gets the interview on Tuesday. They say into Wednesday. Thursday, he gets this job. But you think they maybe had targeted him a little earlier than that?
Well, I think, listen, they loved Robert Saleh. There's no question. If Robert Saleh didn't take the Jets job, I think he'd be the Eagles head coach. Now, why did he take it over the Eagles? I don't know. Maybe a myriad of factors. But I think the Eagles absolutely love him. I think the Eagles really loved the idea of giving the job to Deuce Staley. But in the end, they wanted somebody who could really handle quarterbacks. And maybe Deuce Staley was not enamored of the idea of Carson Wentz being his quarterback, knowing the history here. So you saw that story by Paul Domowitch in the Philly.com today.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of dynamics behind the scene. What does this mean for Carson Wentz? Is it an absolute that he's coming back next season? No, I don't think so. It's not an absolute. Is it very bloody likely? Yes, I do believe it's likely.
I was going to say, how much did Wentz maybe say, you know what, I'm endorsing this. I talked to Frank Reich. I like this guy. I'm excited to come back and work if this guy's the head coach. I mean, did they have to hire someone to make Carson Wentz happy?
Well, they had to hire somebody. As to your first point, that's good speculation, and I like it. I do. But I don't know if it's true or not. But they certainly had to hire somebody, right, Mike, who wasn't going to reject Carson Wentz out of hand and force the Eagles' hand to trade Carson Wentz, where the Eagles would have a problem in the trade talks where they would have no leverage. If the whole world, and everybody talks in the NFL to one another, if the whole world knew in the NFL that Coach A was not interested in keeping Carson Wentz, and the Eagles probably wouldn't hire that guy.
Yeah.
Because it would really undermine their ability to trade him if they wanted to trade him. And I don't think that they are moving in that direction. I don't.
Feels that way anyway, especially, with this hire. They get a young guy and say, look, you're a young guy. Can you connect with Carson? Like, Sal, isn't the biggest thing with this hire is can you fix Carson Wentz? Because we all know how difficult it is to move him and the financial ramifications for moving him, that the plan had to be, who's the best guy to help fix this guy? We've had Andrew Brand on the show. That's what he said. Fix him. Don't trade him. Fix him.
And that's the way I think Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie are thinking. It's not what I would do.
Mm-hmm.
It's not what I would do. Fixing him is not going to be easy. It's not. But trading him is harder. And I think that's the conclusion that they have drawn. Fixing them is not easy. Trading him is harder. As Jeffrey Lurie described him as an asset, right? Okay, they have this asset. And that is the big problem. They have an asset that they need to turn into a quarterback.
Yeah. So
who is going to do that, Mike Gill? Who is going to do it? And it's young Nick Sirianni.
No.
We got a Paisan at the head coaching job finally.
That's good. Nick Sirianni, he's down there coaching the Birds now,
South Phillies, I got a few Italians. I'll tell you that. Get a couple down here.
And Sal Pal, how butchered is this guy's name going to be?
Hamilton's got a couple in Hamilton too. Got a whole lot in South Jersey to Jersey Shore. A lot of Italian Americans.
That's right, Hamilton.
Nick Sirianni, I got an idea. Nick Sirianni is not going to probably pay for too much pasta.
Right.
On the Jersey Shore this summer.
I would imagine, though, he's going to get his name butchered a whole heck of a lot by these Eagle fans. He's a Siriano and all sorts of crazy stuff. But
oh no, I don't think so. Eagles fans know what's up.
What?
Listen, here's what I think. The headline is. Hey, we did it with Nick once. Let's do it all over again. Nick Part 2.
Nick Deuce. And Deuce is not here. How about that little segue there? Huh? I'm not bad at this job, Sal Pal. Deuce is...
No, you're not. You're very good at it.
What happens with Deuce Staley? Why is he passed over?
Don't know and don't know. I really don't.
Yeah.
I really, really like Deuce Staley. And I really think he deserves to be a head coach. That is obviously a question that everybody's going to put to Howie Roseman.
Yep.
And oh, by the way, Mike, Nick Sirianni has never called plays. And that was always the knock on Bieniemy. That was always the knock on Deuce Staley.
Right.
And the NFL right now is trying to promote African-American candidates. Both those men have been passed over. 7 hirings around the league. A lot of question marks. This is a very controversial hiring.
Why Nick Sirianni over Josh McDaniels?
McDaniels was a bad fit here. I know Josh McDaniels a little bit. He's had a sheltered situation in New England. The Philadelphia media and him, I don't think that would mix real well. I really don't.
Probably accurate on that. It seems like a lot of the fans anyway, and you don't want to listen to the fans, but for whatever reason, whatever happened in Denver, but maybe even more so than Indianapolis, has turned a lot of people off. The Eagles, though, seem to like them and were ready to pass that all over, but decided to go with Sirianni. The other guy, you mentioned Bowles, Dennis Allen, a lot of these other guys were here, but I want to ask you about Sirianni's staff. I mean, is that something that helps you get hired too? Hey, I can bring a veteran staff in here. Is he going to bring in a lot of young guys and just change the energy of this place?
Mike, it's 3:10 p.m. I just broke the story on your show 10 minutes ago. Give me a break. Give me some time to work on the staff, and then I'll get it to you as soon as I got it. As soon as I got it,
yeah,
it's getting emailed to you, and then your listeners are going to have it. So stay tuned to the Mike Gill Show because I got much more news on this.
Good stuff. ESPN Sal Paolantonio, they got their guy, and obviously they move forward. So obviously now that Sirianni's here, Wentz, you talked about bloody likely that he's here as well. So what's next for this team? Now they got their guy. What's next?
They got to pick a staff.
Sal, it's 3:10. It's 3:10. Don't play. That's not pick the staff yet.
and Michael, they got to pick an offensive identity, and we'll find that all out in due time.
Let me go back. Let me go back to the thing you mentioned about Dorsey, though, because there were some reports that Roseman needed to sell Lurie on McDaniels getting some control. Do you buy that at all?
Yes, I do.
So you do think that Dorsey's starting to get a little that. So when we get to draft day now, think Dorsey has a louder voice in that draft room?
Totally. Yes.
Okay.
But it's not like he's going to counterman Howie Roseman, because Howie Roseman has the ear of the owner.
Mm-hmm.
And Howie Roseman did help win a Super Bowl here. Obviously, he made some serious mistakes in the last year. But they decided in the end that it was going to be Roseman and Wentz they were going to keep, and Peterson gone. I disagree with that. But now that you've moved forward, now you have to build a consensus. Okay, we got Sirianni in here. Roseman's still here. Dorsey is consulting behind the scenes, helping the general manager and the owner, helping the coach pick the players. You have the number 6 overall pick. You got to figure out what your identity is going to be on offense, and that starts with the trigger man.
Yeah. There's another thought. This all happened so quickly, and boom. We talked about this in the first hour. The Eagles went down the Andy Reid road. Do they feel safe going down the Reich road and saying, you know what, we did well last time we did this? Frank gave us some good stuff. We feel good about this. Is this the way to feel good about it?
But Sirianni was in Kansas City, don't forget.
That too. Kansas City, San Diego before they were L.A., and now here. So he's got, Anthony Lynn he worked with. Some people mentioned Wade Phillips. It's past 3:10. I'm thinking about his staff.
Yeah, I need to know one. First and foremost, defensive coordinator.
Yep.
Because, Mike Gill, those numbers that I sent you are real. Right now we're playing blitz-on football in the playoffs. The number of blitzes that Steve Spagnuolo sent at Baker Mayfield, that Leslie Frazier sent at Lamar Jackson,
right?
that Todd Bowles sent at Drew Brees. They're setting records for the percentage of blitzes they're sending at the quarterback. Why? Something I've harped on this show with you all year long, which is they're not calling offensive holding. So defensive coordinators are like, we can't get to the quarterback unless we blitz because they're holding us. So everybody was blitzing, but Jim Schwartz was not. They got to get a guy in here who knows how to blitz, design blitzes, multiple numbers of blitzes, volume of blitzes. It just blitz the quarterback. Has to happen.
All right, Sal Powell will be in Green Bay for Brady Rodgers. What an assignment that is, and we'll have it here on 97.3 ESPN, 3 o'clock on Sunday. Got 3.5, the spread there. Green Bay's a favorite. Brady heading up to Green Bay. This should be a classic. How does Sal Powell see this one?
Well, I told you last week, don't bet against Brady, right?
Yep, you did. You were questioning why that line was what it was.
I was saying, yeah, exactly that. Do not bet against Brady. Why is this line so small? And now we're finding out that Drew Brees, what was up with Drew Brees in a rotator cuff? Hey, Mike, after the game, if you go back and watch the video, everybody who's listening to this Mike Gill show right now, go back and look at the video on Instagram of Drew Brees throwing the football with his sons on the field after the divisional round loss to Tom Brady. Brady's out there, 3 sons. Drew Brees is throwing a Nerf football left-handed after the game.
Crazy.
Huh?
Yeah, crazy. The fact that they're, report that he played the game with a torn rotator cuff. I mean,
he's throwing the ball left-handed after the game. His arm must have been killing him.
Correct. Absolutely. That story is just.
You can't tell me that Vegas didn't know that going in.
Well, you're right. Vegas probably has information like that, and that's why they're the best, and that's why they clean our clocks every single week.
So in this game coming up, listen, I think this is a pick-em game. I do. First of all, Rodgers is not going to hand the Bucs 3 turnovers. He's not going to throw the 3 interceptions this game. He's going to do a better job. He's got a better arm. He's got better pocket awareness and movement than Brees. He's taller. He's got a quicker release. I don't think that Brady will have the advantage of getting 3 turnovers in this game.
True.
So I think this is a tough game for the Bucs. I know that they, shellacked them back in Week 6. The game was in the warm weather in Tampa, and Todd Blitzing Bowles blitzed Aaron Rodgers in that game right off the bus. And I think he'll do it again to try to make Rodgers turn the ball over, or at least think twice about pulling the trigger, and they can get some sacks on Rodgers like they did in Week 6. I am going to pick the Bucs to win the game.
Ooh.
28-24.
28-24, and Brady goes back to the Super Bowl. Listen to the game right here on 97.3. Sal Pal will have the coverage on ESPN television. Real quick, Buffalo, Kansas City. This one's a little murky because of the quarterback situation, we know, but isn't everybody wanting to see Buffalo back in the Super Bowl?
Oh, man. It's such a great game because you just don't know how good Mahomes is going to be. Mike, I don't think it's the concussion that's the problem. I think it's his toe injury. He suffered that toe injury. He's listed on the injury report with a toe injury. And as I mentioned before, Leslie Frazier and Sean McDermott blitzed the daylights out of Lamar Jackson, and they will come after Patrick Mahomes in this game. Now, Mahomes is a better passer, no question. He's got that lethal tight end in the middle of the field who's the best player at his position in a long, long time, Travis Kelce. I like to call him Jason Kelce's brother. But if he can't move with the toe, and he's a little, not 100% mentally, Mike, I don't know, Buffalo, could we have 2 away teams win in the championship Sunday? Could we possibly have that?
That would be, I don't know last time that happened. Doesn't happen often, but these no fans, although they got fans in Green Bay, I guess there's fans in Kansas City. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm pulling for McDermott. Andy got his last year. I'd like to see Sean McDermott and that Buffalo franchise. Those fans are great. That would be fun. And then a Brady versus Buffalo would be an interesting dynamic. How about a Tampa Bay versus Buffalo Super Bowl? Who had that penciled in at the beginning of the year? Unbelievable. Sal Paolantonio will be in Green Bay. Watch him on ESPN television all weekend long with reports on the NFC Championship game. And he was here on the Boardwalk Honda Hotline thanks to Johnny G and the Berger Realty Group. Those guys are great. Sal Pal, great. And Nick Sirianni is your new Eagles head coach. Sal, appreciate it, man.
Okay, and thank you so much to Johnny G and the Grinder team at Berger Realty. And see you down in Ocean City, brother.
All right, Sal. Sal Paolantonio here on the Sports Bash. There you go. He, like all guests, appeared via the Boardwalk Honda Hotline.